Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Yes, video is late today. I kind of expected it would be. Today starts our big yard sale fundraiser. Been out there since 6 o'clock this morning. Got all kinds of volunteers and it's going really well. So we're all pumped up about what's going on. Meeting a lot of amazing people, even some of you. Some of you that I've never met before have shown up and I've got to meet some of you. So that's always a fun thing to do. A lot of crazy stuff going on. Putin said this morning that overnight Ukraine had attempted or did attack one of their nuclear power plants. Apparently nothing, I don't think, was damaged, that they were able to defend it, but they were attacking a nuclear power plant inside Russia. This is, I believe, definitely an escalation. If something like that were to happen, if they were to cause some kind of disaster, I could easily see that be a provocation for nuclear attack from Russia. The Assistant Deputy Prime Minister of Italy, the President of Belarus, and Putin himself have all made statements in the last few days very similar, that NATO allowing Ukraine to use long-range weapons into Russia is definitely going to start World War III. So there's a lot of stuff going on. Ukraine also hit and sunk a cargo ferry inside Russia. It's building up, and at some point it appears as this could go much bigger than it already is. That there could be more involvement in NATO. That World War III could happen, that Russia could do a big strike against Ukraine or a NATO country, nuclear even, or Ukraine could use nuclear weapons against Russia. We've all thought about this, folks, and it's heating up fast. And this is something you need to get ready for, considering all that's going on here on the home front with the election, with the illegals pouring in. The potential for terrorist attacks, and that's something that I don't think a lot of people are really ready for, or really thinking about. That if things start to go really crazy, either in the Middle East or in Europe or even in China and Taiwan, because also in the news today, the United States Navy sailed a ship through the Taiwan Strait, which is something that China has said to not do. Don't do that. That's one of those red line kind of things. So if any of those situations start to really go hot, we don't really know fully how many people and who they are that's come into this country illegally. And the possibility of them doing something, striking our grid. I just talked to someone today. Most people have no clue how fragile our grid system is. Most people in the United States have been so insulated from bad times that we have no concept of what it's going to be like when things really fall apart. History, and I'm not talking distant history, I'm talking recent history. I'm talking in our lifetimes, and I'm also referring to things that's happening as we speak around the world. People have gotten to, there's been many situations where the desperation has gotten so bad that cannibalism happens, that crimes are so rampant, starvation, people just dying because there's no food, there's no medicine, there's no clean water. These types of scenarios are actually pretty common throughout the world, throughout history. And America has been protected from all that. We are privileged here. And because of that protection and privileged, I believe it's created a fairly weak population. Mentally weak. People are so they're so bored, they're so comfortable, they're so safe that they're complaining about pronouns. They throw a fit because they didn't get ketchup with their fries. Just absolute ridiculous stuff. The amount of medications, pharmaceuticals, and mental illnesses that are spread rampant in this country. When things fall apart, things are going to get bad. And we need to be prepared for that. That's why you should be working towards self-sufficiency as much as possible, working on building community, building your mag teams, your just your neighbors around you, of what are you going to do when things get that bad? Because while the big cities may get the brunt of it, folks that live out in the small towns and the rural areas, they may not have to see quite as bad of a situation, but it's very possible that you will be cut off from a lot of things, and you'll be left on your own. And people need to wake up and realize that, because I think that there's a payment due that's coming on America's just bad government decisions, bad economic decisions, bad moral decisions, bad spiritual decisions. And when you're set back and you start to see all the things that's happening, it's like you're watching the whole world get ready for something really bad to happen, whether it's a war, a major economic collapse, a major pandemic, something, just a breakdown in general of society. Because this civilized world that we've lived in for so long, it's coming apart. It's absolutely coming apart, and it's purposeful. I believe it's directed for the most part. I believe it's being done on purpose. Yes, to bring in this new order, this new system, this new era, this new age. But it doesn't change the fact that you and I are going through it. And that's why we need to get serious, buckle up, and get very serious about what you're doing to prepare yourself, your family, and the people around you. When I speak of mental preparedness, that's a very real thing. And the stuff, for those of you that are kind of history buffs, for those of you that pay attention of what goes on around the world, especially in countries that have gone through, revolutions and collapses and civil wars and all this kind of stuff, you understand a little bit better of what this means and how it's going to be, how hard it's going to be, how awful it's going to be, and the mental toll that it's going to take to survive, the mental pressure, the mental anguish that people are going to go through. And so it's a real thing, and I really want to encourage you that as all of these events are starting to come together, it doesn't mean that they're coming together tomorrow or next week or next month or maybe even by the end of the year, but they are coming together, and it's getting more and more obvious that we're past that point of no return as a people. And when that day starts happening, that it becomes very apparent whether the grid goes down, or there's a cyber attack, or there's a conventional attack, or nuclear attack, terrorist attack, whatever it is, a pandemic, there's always something. There's always something that it could be. When that happens, I'm afraid you're going to see some people in this country just completely lose it. It's going to look way worse than anything you ever saw during the pandemic. And that's why you need to start buckling up and getting ready. Make sure your supplies are stocked up. Make sure your training, your plan, going over it of how to react to it is as nailed down as you can possibly make it. And then just start getting ready, because it's coming, folks. Man, there's a lot of things, and it's sometimes difficult to kind of put it all together because there's so many things happening at once. But we definitely need to be paying attention to it. And there's always this psyop illusion that they're trying to spin to kind of basically just manipulate what we're doing and what we think. And you need to also be prepared and kind of guarded against that. Folks, it's time to get your houses in order and to prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.